And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Patomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com is where I get all the emails I deal with here on my show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. I call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, I'm talking about gamblers in the IRS, and I'm going to talk about how to protect your assets. And then my special guest, John Hanson. I call him my special guest. He's a contributor. He's here every Monday. Anyway, John Hanson is going to be here. We refer to him as that little old wine drinker. He's going to be talking about the Terra Rojas release that took place last weekend up in Napa, California, and I'm sure he's going to have some really great stories for us. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. But first, I want you to know that at 3:03 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the encapsulated news, the 10 things that you need to know for today, your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that'll be talked about all day today and probably tomorrow as well. But like I say, we've just abbreviated them, encapsulated them, so you can get a little idea of all the things that are going on. Then we'll go back and we'll cover it a little more in depth. But first off, why lower gas prices will affect Social Security payments. This is not good news for you folks on Social Security. Cheaper fuel means cost of living adjustments will not rise. So millions of retirees, disabled veterans, and others will see no increase in their benefit checks that come every month. And research into gun violence lags in the U.S. Firearms advocates, wary of any possible limits on weaponry, have successfully lobbied for limitations on government research and funding, and private sources have not filled the breach. And what some drug prisoners may see due to sentencing overhauls. Federal officials say roughly 40,000 inmates, many of them small-time drug dealers, could be eligible for reduced sentences in coming years. And who could see gains from a Turkish peace rally bombing? The Islamic State terror group could benefit the most from this, since a continued military offensive within Turkey would take pressure off the extremist group in Syria. And Putin defends Moscow's intervention in Syria. The Russian president says Moscow's objective was to stabilize the Syrian government and create conditions for political compromise. And a helicopter crash at Kabul bases kills 5, NATO says. 2 Royal Air Force members are among those killed when the Puma Mk2 helicopter crashed while landing in Kabul, the British Ministry of Defense says. And why hundreds of flights were delayed. Southwest Airlines says technical issues are forcing them to check in some customers manually at airports and causing long lines. And more cities recognizing Native Americans on Columbus Day. A movement is being revived to change the name of the holiday to celebrate the history and contributions of indigenous cultures around the country. And You're not putting a stop to me, period. That's what Syra Nicole, a topless painted panhandler, says about New York City's move to regulate such solicitation. And the last item here today is Ohio State remains atop the Associated Press's football poll. Baylor is number 2, and Utah is up to 4th behind the number 1 Buckeyes. Yep, you got that one right. Now, let's talk about more in-depth news. And let's start off with Netanyahu accuses Arabs of incitement in a wave of stabbings. Palestinians carried out 3 stabbings today in Jerusalem, leaving a teenage Israeli boy in critical condition. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu angrily accused the country's Arab leaders of helping incite weeks of violence. 2 of the attackers, both teenage boys, were killed. In a fiery speech at Parliament, Netanyahu accused Arab parties of undermining the country. He called on Israel's Arab citizens to kick out the extremists among you. Netanyahu spoke on another bloody day and latest in the month-long wave of Israeli-Palestinian violence. In a new setback for efforts to restore calm, the quartet of Mideast mediators, the United States, the UN, the European Union, and Russia, postponed a trip to the region. Edgar Vasquez, a spokesman for the State Department's Bureau of Near East Affairs, said it was the request of the Israeli government due to the circumstances. Israeli police reported 3 separate stabbings across the city, including an assault by 2 attackers in the East Jerusalem area of Pisgat Ziv. Police said the pair seriously wounded a 20-year-old man before attacking a teenage boy on a bicycle. You know what? Will there ever be peace on earth? Gosh, you got to hope for it, right? Well, amid Russian airstrikes, a Putin craze takes hold in the Mideast. Amid the ornate walls of Damascus, famed Ahmadiyya Mosque preacher Mamun Rameh stood before worshippers last week, declaring Russian President Vladimir Putin a giant and beloved leader who has destroyed the myth of the self-aggrandizing America. Posters of Putin are popping up on cars and billboards elsewhere in parts of Syria and Iraq, praising the Russian military intervention in Syria as one that will redress the balance of power in the region. The Russian leader is winning accolades from many in Iraq and Syria who see Russian airstrikes in Syria as a turning point after more than a year of largely ineffectual efforts by the United States-led coalition to dislodge the Islamic State militants who have occupied significant parts of the 2 countries. The reactions underscore that while the West may criticize Putin for supporting Syrian President Bashar Assad, there is some relief in the region at the emergence of a player with a coherent, if controversial, strategy. Now, don't go away, because when we come...
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. And right now, it's Democratic debate, a breakout chance for O'Malley and others. Let's talk about that. Stuck far behind Hillary Rodham Clinton and Bernie Sanders in the race for the Democratic presidential nomination, Martin O'Malley needs a breakout moment in the party's first debate to catch up to the front runners. And he knows it. This will really be the first time that nationally voters see that there's more than one alternative to this year's inevitable frontrunner, Secretary Clinton. O'Malley said, "It's a very, very important opportunity for me to not only present my vision for where the country should head, but also 15 years of executive experience actually accomplishing the progressive things some of the other candidates can only talk about," he said. The former governor of Maryland and mayor of Baltimore got into the race at the end of May after telegraphing for some time his plans to seek the White House in 2016. The entries of the two others who will be on stage Tuesday night in Las Vegas, former Virginia Senator Jim Webb and former Rhode Island Senator Lincoln Chafee, were surprises to most. But all three have one thing in common, an inability so far to generate any of the enthusiasm among voters that has pushed Sanders into and kept Clinton at the top of the field. All three polls in low single digits in early preference surveys, well below even Vice President Joe Biden, who has yet to say if he'll make a late entry into the race. O'Malley has been openly critical of the Democratic National Committee and the decision to hold 6 primary debates, with 4 scheduled in early primary states before the Iowa caucuses on February the 1st. He has mounted a push for the party to expand the number, even encouraging protests in front of Democratic Party headquarters. Well, the party hasn't budged, but O'Malley is undaunted. He has campaigned aggressively in Iowa and New Hampshire, far more than Webb or Chafee. He is critical of Clinton for her recent shifts on policy issues, among them her opposition to the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal, which he calls a reversal. Well, time will tell, but I'll tell you what, the debate is tomorrow night, and I, for one, can't hardly wait to see the difference between the 4 Democratic hopefuls, or I should say 5 Democratic hopefuls, and the 16 Republican hopefuls. Let's hope that this debate is really a debate and not a ratings war for the media. Anyway, Princeton economist wins the Nobel Prize for work on poverty. Angus Deaton has dug into obscure data to explore a range of problems: the scope of poverty in India, how poor countries treat young girls, the link between income inequality and economic growth. The Princeton University economist research has raised doubts about sweeping solutions to poverty and about the effectiveness of aid programs. And today, it earned him the Nobel Prize in economics for work that the award committee said has had immense importance for human welfare, not least in poor countries. Deacon, 69 years old, will receive a prize of 8 million Swedish kroner. Well, that's about $975,000 in American money from the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences. Deaton's research has shown other researchers and international organizations like the World Bank how to go about understanding poverty at the very basic level, said Thorsten Persson, secretary of the award committee. Well, congratulations. That's all I can say. Can you imagine? Just shy of $1 million award. Isn't that great? Yeah. Well, Zimbabwe official, the United States dentist not wanted for killing the lion. Yep, you know where we're going with this, right? Zimbabwe is no longer processing for extradition of James Walter Palmer, an American dentist who killed a well-known lion called Cecil, a cabinet minister said today. Palmer can now safely return to Zimbabwe as a tourist because he had not broken the southern African country's hunting laws. Environment, Water, and Climate Minister Opa Muchinguri Kashiri told reporters in Harare today. Zimbabwe's police and the National Prosecuting Authority had cleared Palmer of wrongdoing, she said. Through an advisor, Palmer declined comment. Palmer was identified as the man who killed Cecil in a bow hunt. Cecil, a resident of Hwang National Park in western Zimbabwe, was well known to tourists and researchers for his distinctive black mane. Wow, you know what? While people are repulsed by what happened there, the man didn't break any laws. The man didn't do anything wrong. He might not have, it might have been distasteful to you and me and a lot of people, but he didn't break any laws. He followed all the rules, and he shouldn't be punished for it. We don't all agree on all the rules that we have to live by, do we? Yeah. Well, Associated Press source, lack of written contract led FIFA suspensions. The toppling of soccer's most powerful and recognizable leaders may have been sealed when FIFA President Sepp Blatter agreed to pay Michel Platini, the head of European soccer, 2 million Swiss francs. That's about $2 million U.S. in 2011. Both men told FIFA's ethics committee that Blatter was making good on a verbal promise to pay Platini the bonus. A person familiar with the case told the Associated Press today. Now, just as Platini was hoping to finally succeed the 79-year-old Sepp Blatter as FIFA's maximum leader, both men have fallen further into disgrace because Platini waited 9 years before demanding the payment, despite the lack of a written contract for work he did helping Blatter cement his leadership over professional soccer. Now, having said that, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to deal with the IRS loses. And the first case up is there is no penalty for an honest mistake. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh, yeah, here we are. My favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And I mean, we've got some great things going on today. And, and you don't want to miss the next part of our segment either. I'm going to be talking about gamblers in the IRS and how to protect your assets. So we've got a big show going on today. And right after that, we'll have our own John Hanson, the little old wine drinker, talking about the new vintage of Terra Roja wines out of the Napa Valley. But first off, let's talk about there is no penalty for an honest mistake. Well, Jorge Savoda exercised stock options to receive $75,000 of income that was taxable as wages, but he didn't understand the tax law and reported as tax-favored capital gain. When the IRS increased his tax bill, it added a 20% penalty. He protested, went to tax court. This is what the judge said. Mr. Savoda's mistaken reporting of the income resulted from an honest misunderstanding of the law that is reasonable in light of his experience, knowledge, and education. Since there was reasonable cause explaining his good faith error, the penalty is lifted. Well, I mean, that's a big thing, guys. When you start thinking about 20%, the tax on that $75,000 was probably somewhere around $25,000, maybe $30,000, and then a 20% is another $6,000 on top of that. So that's a big deal. Here's the next case. The IRS lost. They cannot collect non-payment penalties when no return was even filed. Here's the case. Charles Wheeler didn't file a tax return to report his retirement income of more than $40,000. Now, the IRS assessed tax. He filed a case in tax court, and the court decided the amount of tax that he owed. The IRS then sought penalties for non-payment of the tax and of estimated taxes. This is what the judge said. The non-payment of tax penalty is based on the amount of tax due as shown on the return. But Wheeler hadn't filed a return, and the IRS hadn't filed a substitute return for him. Similarly, the minimum estimated tax payments due are based on the prior year's return, but the IRS hadn't put one in evidence, so the penalties cannot be collected. There you go. By the way, the penalties on that are 50% of the tax owed, so that's a big deal. And how about this? The IRS conceded this one. You've heard me say it many times. The IRS only concedes when they're pretty doggone sure they can't prevail in court. Here's this case. An auditor can consider unfiled form to shift exemption for a child of divorced parents. Now, here's the case. When divorced parents have a child, that non-custodial parent can't claim a dependency exemption for the child unless the parent with custody signs IRS Form 8332. That's the release of claim to an exemption for a child of divorced or separated parents. Or a similar statement. Now, IRS regulations then require that this form be attached to the return of the non-custodial parent who claims the exemption. IRS legal opinion here. When parents dispute who gets the exemption, an auditor can consider a signed form 8332 even if it was not properly attached to a return as evidence of who should actually get the exemption on the merits, with the non-custodial parent remaining eligible. The other thing is, you want to be careful when you fill out this form 8332. There's two little boxes to check. One gives you the exemption for that 1 year only. The other box gives it to you forever. So keep that in mind the next time you're thinking about signing one of these things. All right, last case. The IRS loses. A 6-hour layover make away from home expenses deductible. Now, this is about a ferry captain on Puget Sound, Washington. He worked 17-hour days on runs completed within 24 hours that included a 6-hour layover at an away-from-home port. He paid for his own meals and deducted them and other costs as away-from-home travel expenses. But the IRS disallowed the deductions, saying he was never away from home. He had used no premises or hotel room in the distant port, but only slept on the boat when necessary. This is what the judge said. The captain did sleep during the layovers, and the need to sleep on a trip is a test of being away from home. For tax purposes anyway, the fact that he slept on the boat didn't matter, so the captain qualifies for those away-from-home expenses. Yes, sir. Now, if you ever want to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff, well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Oh, yeah, here we are inside the IRS. Now, this is not tax court cases, but these are cases that have set a precedent, not even cases, decisions that have set a precedent, and you can actually use these to your own defense when it comes to the IRS. Here's one for you to be thinking about. How about expenses of attending a convention or seminar outside of North America? Now, they are generally disallowed according to Section 274H of the tax code, but the definition of North America has recently been changed in a revenue ruling. The United States, its possessions, the trust territories of the Pacific Islands, and Canada and Mexico are all acceptable destinations. The Bahamas, Aruba, and the Netherlands, Antilles, have been added to the list, and St. Lucia was dropped as of April and way back in 2007 because its government failed to enact legislation to enact financial information with the U.S. United States. But take note, the Cayman Islands and the British Virgin Islands are not included on the list of acceptable destinations because those governments have limited the scope of financial information that may be exchanged with the IRS. Now, do not go away. You certainly don't want to go away because you know what I'm talking about next? I'm going to talk about gamblers in the IRS. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? I've been telling you I told you on Friday. I'm telling you again today. We've got a great subject to talk about today, and that is gamblers in the IRS. And keep the most and avoid tax trouble with this. And this is where we're at with this whole thing. So, gambling is a $50 billion business in this country, and the IRS must love it. Winnings are taxable and may be subject to withholding, and deductions for losses are restricted. Now, here are some ways to make the most of both winning and losing. Let's talk about the winners first. If you're lucky enough to have had a good year at the track, casino, or other gambling venue, your winnings will have both a direct and indirect impact on your taxes. The direct impact, gambling winnings are taxable as ordinary income. This includes sweepstakes, lotteries, and winnings through illegal betting. For example, the office football pool or online poker, which is now a $10 billion industry, by the way. Even if you sell the right to collect your winnings, you get no break. The IRS says that you received ordinary income in this case, not capital gains. Now, here's an example of that. Suppose you win a state lottery payable over 25 years. After collecting your first year's share, you sell the right to your 24 other payments. The amount that you get from the third party is ordinary income, just as it would be had you received the payments directly from the state. Now, casinos and other venues must report gambling winnings to you and to the IRS on Form W-2G, like in George. And certain gambling winnings, when your winnings are more than the following amounts. So here's the thing for you to know. $600 or more at one time if this is at least 300 times the amount that you waged. Or $1,200 or more from bingo or a slot machine, regardless of the size of the wager. And then $1,500 or more from a Keno game, net of the wager. So, income tax withholding? Well, winnings from the source are subject to mandatory withholding at the rate of 25% if they exceed $5,000 and the take is at least 300 times the amount wagered. It's the total amount of the winnings that determines the withholding. This is the case even if the purse is split between two or more winners and each winner receives less than the threshold amount for withholding. Now, here's an example for you. Two people buy a winning lottery ticket together for $1 and win $5,002. Withholding is required even though each person received less than that $5,000. It's because of the total. Now, you got to be careful. Watch out for increased withholding, backup withholding. Here's the deal. If a winner gives a taxpayer identification number at the time of the winning, 25% will be withheld. If not, 28% will be withheld. This includes winnings from bingo, keno, and slot machines. Now, for non-cash winnings, such as an automobile, withholding is based on the fair market value of the item. In the fair market value, if it exceeds $5,000, there are two ways withholding on non-cash items is figured. First, the winner pays the withholding tax to the casino, lottery authority, or other payer. The withholding rate is 25% of the value of the item minus the amount of the wager. And the payer pays the withholding tax. The withholding rate is 33.33% of the value of the item minus the amount of the wager. So how about an indirect impact? Gambling winnings are reported in full on your tax return. They increase your adjusted gross income, or AGI, and this can adversely affect other items on your return, and it may increase the amount of Social Security benefits subject to tax. Now, see, you might want to just check with your tax professional to make sure that you've got all this stuff really handled in the way that it should be done. Also, reduce itemized deductions for medical expenses, casualty and theft losses, and miscellaneous expenses because of the amount of gross there. And then, you have to prevent a Roth IRA conversion if gambling winnings push the AGI over $100,000. Tough stuff, right? Well, there's some restrictions on losses. Gambling losses are deductible to the extent of winnings and only as miscellaneous itemized deductions. So you must itemize to get any tax benefit from losses, but losses are not subject to that 2% of AGI floor that applies to most other miscellaneous write-offs. Now, professional gamblers can treat losses as a business expense on Schedule C rather than as an itemized deduction on Schedule A. The amount of deductible losses cannot exceed total winnings for the year. So if you win $1,000 but lose $15,000 throughout the year, your total deduction for the year is only $1,000. The balance of your losses, $14,000, is lost forever and does not carry forward to be used in future years. And record keeping for your losses, you got to be smart here. While winnings are reported by the casino or other player to the IRS, or payer, I should say, it is up to you to keep track of your losses for the year. If you're a regular gambler, it's a good idea to keep a log or diary, written or electronic, tracking your betting activities. Records should show the date and type of wagering activity that took place, the name and location of the gambling establishment, the names of other gamblers present if applicable, and the amounts won and lost. Retain all losing tickets for lottery games and bets at the track. Here's a suggestion for you. If you fail to do this, you can follow the lead of a couple who use their credit card, debit card, and bank statements showing cash withdrawals at a casino to help substantiate their losses. You want to check this out, you can just go to Tracy A. Tomko. It's a tax court summary opinion. It took place way back in 2005, and the tax court case opinion was 2005-139. How about planning strategies? What can you do to make the most of your luck? Well, as when you receive any income windfall, it is advisable to minimize taxes through tax planning measures that include charitable giving. Reduce your taxable income by being generous to worthy causes. Note, however, that your charitable contribution deduction for the year for cash donations is limited to 50% or less of your adjusted gross income. And how about adjusted gross income planning? Well, keep AGI low by using salary reductions where possible. Maximize contributions to your 401k and flexible spending account. That's an FSA. Realize capital losses in excess of capital gains up to $3,000. Take advantage of above-the-line deductions, traditional IRA contributions. For sizable purchases, consider using partnerships or trusts for family income splitting. This will allow payments to be spread among family members and, where applicable, taxed at lower rates. Reduce oral partnerships, loose agreements to split winnings, and to a written agreement before collecting the prize money to avoid fighting among the parties later on. Have everything, always, everything has to be in writing. Don't make that horrible mistake of having a gentleman's contract. It's going to not only cause you a problem with the people involved, it's going to cause you a problem with the gambling authorities, and it's going to cause you a problem with the federal government as well. So stay away from that kind of stuff. Also important, while tax planning may be a prime concern after a sizable win, asset protection, such as by using an LLC to hide your identity or a Nevada spendthrift trust, which gives the trustee control of the money, should also be considered. Publicized winners, such as those who win a big state lottery, often become targets of the unscrupulous. Work only with trustworthy advisors, those that you already know or for whom you have sound recommendations. And also, take into account state and local income taxes, if applicable, when planning. You know what? You just certainly have to be smart. You got to be careful. You want to make sure that what you're doing is going to pass muster, because I can guarantee you it's going to be checked. And it's going to be checked thoroughly. The one thing that we said, we just kind of touched lightly on it, and we need to touch a little heavier on it, and that is always, the second call you make. The first call is probably to your wife or your spouse or your best friend or something to brag about what you won and all that. Maybe not. Wouldn't recommend it to anybody other than your spouse. But I'll tell you what, that second call should be to your tax advisor, your licensed tax professional. They're going to give you the proper advice, tell you exactly what to do, how to handle it. They're the guy that's going to really save you money. Now, even if they don't save you huge on taxes because you're a relatively intelligent, smart guy, they're going to save a lot of the withholding that would normally have had to have taken place just by making sure that you know what the rules are. So always check with that tax professional. They're just a phone call away. I know that when I was in private practice, and most of the people that my peers that I dealt with, we never charged for a phone call. As long as I didn't have to pick up a pencil or open a book, and I was giving you a 2 or 3 minute answer to something. You never got a bill. I figured you were going to be back in my office later on in the year to do your taxes anyway, or do some accounting or do some other work. And that was enough. It was a courtesy. I gave you the advice that you needed to have. That's always going to be the case. So don't let it get past you. Now, coming up next, I'm going to talk to you about how to protect your assets from creditors and lawsuits. You know what? A lot of people have the misconception that just a trust will do that, and that is just not the case. Now, the other thing is, I want to remind you that, that Robert Cardoza Live has its own apps out. We have an app for Apple, and you can go to your Apple store and just search Robert Cardoza Live. It's a free app, costs you nothing. Download it. You'll be able to listen to our shows live, or you'll be able to listen to all of our archive shows. You'll even be able to chat with us during the live show if you choose to do that. And that's also available for Windows and Android products. Just go to googleplay.com and search Robert Cardoza Live, and it'll be there also. Remember, those are free apps. And you know what? It'll make it easier for you to listen to our show, whether you're in your car, in your office, at home, walking around. You know what? And we love it when you listen to us. And it gives you the flexibility, and you'll get the best sound quality of what's going on. Now, having said that, do not go away, because as I said before, when we come back, I'm going to tell you how to protect your assets from creditors and lawsuits. You don't want to miss this. This is important stuff.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:50 p.m. Pacific time. It is still 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? I told you how to save money as a gambler, and boy, I'll tell you what the best way is to qualify as a professional gambler. Then it becomes a business and not just a winnings kind of thing. But right now, you know what? I want to talk to you about how to protect your assets from creditors and lawsuits. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions about how you do that and what you can and can't get away with regard to trust and things like that. So I thought I'd just kind of touch on a few things to enlighten you a little bit and get you to think a little bit. You know, your personal assets are vulnerable to the claims of creditors, the government, individuals who might sue you, and perhaps an ex-spouse. What can you do to protect them? Well, here are some sound ways to use the tax law and other means to protect your assets. Now, first of all, you have to have a comprehensive approach here. There's no single action to bulletproof your assets for claims. You need to look at all aspects of your personal and business activities in the areas for review. So let's talk about, first of all, insurance coverage. The liability limits on most homeowners and auto insurance policies are low. They're really too low to in light of the size of many of today's personal injury awards. The solution to that is add an umbrella coverage, which picks up where those other policies leave off. For example, a $5 million liability policy is going to cost you about $1,200 a year. Other insurance to assess? Well, if you are a professional, such as a doctor, attorney, or an accountant, carry adequate professional liability coverage, also known as malpractice insurance, also known as errors and omissions. You've heard me talk about that every single day. With unlimited duration. Continue coverage even after you've retired from practice, usually with a one-time premium that covers you against future claims arising from actions taken before you actually retired. And if you serve on a board of directors, including one for a nonprofit organization, make sure that the organization carries directors and officers coverage to protect you from claims arising from actions that you took or did not take in your capacity as a board member. And then think about prenuptial agreements. Yeah, you heard me right. Think about a prenuptial agreement. Those concerned with protecting property acquired prior to a marriage or ensuring the rights of children from a former marriage should use a prenuptial agreement. This kind of contract spells out property rights, among other things, and can protect your assets from your spouse's claims should your marriage actually fail. If using a prenuptial agreement to protect retirement plan assets, be sure to have your new spouse sign a waiver of his or her rights to those assets. The waiver must be signed after you get married. The prenuptial agreement does not work to protect retirement plan assets in the absence of such a waiver. So if you are already married but don't have a prenuptial agreement, consider a post-nuptial agreement to accomplish the same goals. You know what? And here I guess I should say good luck. How about business organization? Anyone owning a business should consider using a type of organization that provides personal liability protection. A corporation or limited liability company can do this. However, owners should understand the limits of these legal protections. For example, a corporate shareholder who personally guarantees a third-party loan to his corporation is personally liable for the debt if the corporation fails to pay. Incorporation does not give any protection in this kind of a situation. How about state of residence? Some states, others offer special protection for certain assets. For example, Florida allows residents unlimited protection for personal residences. Texas and Wisconsin exempt all IRAs from creditor claims. How about retirement and education savings plans? Retirement plans and IRAs, investments held in qualified retirement plans, such as a 401k, accounts enjoy federal asset protection, meaning they are protected against all creditors because the Employee Retirement Act, Security Act of 1974, they call it ERISA, and the Bankruptcy Abuse Prevention and Consumer Protection Act of 2005. The limitation? While funds in... Whoops, what was that? Oh, you know what? I just got a reminder about our own John Hanson going to be here in about 15 minutes. Anyway, the limitation, while funds in rollover IRAs are fully protected, there is a $1 million limit on protection for assets in a contributory IRA, such as opposed to a rollover. Now, rollover strategies. When rolling over funds from a qualified plan to an IRA, use an account that is separate from any contributory IRA to gain unlimited protection for the rolled over amount. Do not make any additional contribution to the rollover account. Continue to keep it separate from any contributory IRAs. Now, there's an option for you. When leaving a job or retiring for even stronger asset protection, consider keeping funds within a qualified plan rather than rolling them over to an IRA. ERISA, protection for assets held in a qualified retirement plan, is impenetrable, meaning that creditors cannot get the funds under any circumstances. Now, IRA funds enjoy only bankruptcy protection, so unless you go bankrupt, your funds are vulnerable. Now, education savings plans, funds held in 529 plans maintained by a state or eligible institution are exempt from creditors' claims in case of bankruptcy. Here's the requirement, though. The account beneficiary must be the debtor's child, grandchild, stepchild, or step-grandchild. So there's a limitation here as well. Funds contributed within 1 year of filing for bankruptcy are not exempt from creditors' claims. Contributions made more than 1 year but less than 2 years before filing are protected only up to $5,000. Full exemption applies after 2 years. Now take note. Your state may offer greater protection for 529 plan assets than allowed under the federal bankruptcy law, and you can choose this state protection over the federal protection. So keep that in mind. Now, I want to deal with trust, but before I do that, I want to remind you that we are getting ready to leave the 405 Media Group, our Media Radio Group. They only have us for an hour, and so for those of you that listen to us on 405 Media, I encourage you to get our app so that you can plug it in, and it's free, and you can listen to our entire show and not miss any part of it. I encourage you to do that. Just go to your Apple Store and search Robert Cardoza Live in the Apple pop-up. It's absolutely free, and you can download it. Or if you're on a Windows product or an Android product, just go to googleplay.com and do the same search, Robert Cardoza Live. The app is there, and it's absolutely free. We encourage you to get that. Now let's talk about trusts. Assets held in a trust for the beneficiary generally are protected from creditors' claims if the right type of trust is used. There's some options. They have a spendthrift trust. This is a trust that includes a clause preventing undistributed income and principal from being used to satisfy the claims of a beneficiary's creditor. For example, the beneficiary cannot assign his interest in the trust to a creditor to satisfy a debt. Usually, this type of trust is used only for a beneficiary other than the person who sets up the trust, such as the person's spouse, child, or grandchild. But be careful. Asset transfers to a trust may be subject to gift tax, depending on the size of the gifts and who the beneficiary is. And how about this? Domestic asset protection trusts. This trust is designed to protect the assets of the trust's creator from claims of his own creditors. Only certain states allow them: Alaska, Delaware, Nevada, Rhode Island, and Utah. Whether a resident or another state can protect assets by setting up a trust in one of these states has yet to be tested in court. So for now, asset protection trusts probably work best for the residents of those states. How about a foreign trust set up in a jurisdiction that do not enforce judgments of U.S. courts? These trusts are not necessarily unreachable. Before using them, discuss asset protection with an attorney who specializes in that subject. Now, let's talk about long-term care. Needing long-term care because of accident-related injuries or chronic illness can be financially devastating. Now, AARP estimates that 60% of those over age 65 require some type of long-term care during their lives. Many people don't realize that standard medical policies and Medicare do not cover this type of care, which can quickly wipe out a lifetime of personal savings. So the solution? Let me give you the first one. Those with a sizable chunk of assets to protect, generally $500,000 or more, should consider buying a long-term care insurance policy for federal income tax purposes. Part of the premium is a deductible medical expense. The portion depends on current age. State law may provide additional tax breaks. For example, in New York, there's a 20% tax credit for all such premiums. There's another solution, too. Those with more modest assets who cannot afford long-term care premiums, should consider transferring almost all of their assets, other than assets exempt under Medicaid, to family members in order to qualify for Medicaid, which does pay for long-term care. Plan ahead. Transfers made within 60 months of a Medicaid application are taken into account in determining eligibility and may prevent this government assistance. Those with family histories of chronic disease that typically require long-term personal care not covered by regular medical insurance policies, such as Alzheimer's disease, should discuss long-term planning with a knowledgeable elder law attorney. Find one near you through the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. Now go to their website at www.naela.org. Now, hopefully, that has helped you with the stuff that we're doing here. You know, there's all kinds of different trusts and all kinds of different planning. You want to make sure that you're probably seeing an asset protection expert or specialist or professional, and you want to check them out and check them out thoroughly. There's a lot of scams going on out there that aren't going to protect you. So you want to really check that out really, really well. It's generally going to be a law group that's going to do that for you. You want to make sure that you're well protected. And if you're not going to have a law firm do that for you and you're going to some other firm that says they do asset protection, go ahead and find out what they're doing, what they're offering, what the different pieces are, what the costs are, everything else, and then run it by an asset protection attorney just to get a green light on it to make sure that everything is going to be appropriate and that you're not going to be hurt in any way. That's kind of where you want to be with this thing. And, you know, I can guarantee you that that's what you want to have. So, you know, with that, let's see here. We're going to be going on a commercial break in about, a minute or so. And I'm waiting for our own John Hanson to call in. And so let's see if we can't make that happen. Let's see here. I'm getting messages. I'm getting all kinds of stuff coming in. And what I'm not getting is the call that I want to get from our own John. There he is. He's right there now. There, we got him. So we're going to go on a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be with our own John Hanson, that little old wine drinker. And you know what? I know he's going to be talking about the new breakout of the Terra Roja. He went to a magnificent event last weekend. He's going to be telling us all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back with my good buddy, John Hanson.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:06 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we missed him last week because he was out having fun and having a great time in the Napa Valley. He went and got some advanced tastes of the new Terra Roja vintage that's out, and he also had some magnificent food that he's going to tell us all about. Let me introduce him the correct way and get him in here so we can talk.
And they ask, who's the fool in the corner crying? I say, a little old wine drinker me.
And now, from the middle of a vineyard somewhere, a man who's never met a grape he couldn't cuddle up to, our resident advanced sommelier, John Hanson.
Hey, John, welcome aboard. You know what? I may not even recognize your voice. It's been so long I've talked to you. Besides which, you probably burned out your vocal cords with all that magnificent wine that you were putting down that throat of yours.
Well, you know what, Bob? I tell you, the last 2 weeks, I have had the most incredible weekends. And, I just want to talk about this weekend because last week, of course, was unbelievable. And before I get into anything, I just want to say, buddy, I missed you and Marlene. It just wasn't the same when you two weren't there. But, my God, what a great weekend. And, wait till you hear what happened. It is just amazing.
I can't hardly wait. But did you fly up and rent a car? Or did you drive up?
No, we flew up and rented a car. Oh, gosh. And we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But, Bob, I just want to talk about this weekend. And first of all, I want to thank Philippe for not putting up too much of a stake. I played hooky this weekend because you know how big of a Met fan I am.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, the Mets are the same age as me, 50-some years old. And when they get in the playoffs, Bob, it's like every 12 years the Mets get in the playoffs. That's it. They've been in there 4 times. Of course, 69, the Miracle Mets. 73, they lost to what a great Oakland A's team back in 73 with Reggie Jackson, Bill Norris, Sal Bando. We can go on and on and on. But they didn't make the playoffs until 86, and of course they beat the Red Sox in that huge play in Game 6 with Billy Butner went through his legs at first base where it was almost over, and of course they came back and won it in Game 7. But then in 2000 they played against the Yankees and only won 5 games, and that was it, and they were out. So this is the first year. It looks great, and they're playing in Dodger Stadium, so I was able to get tickets for both nights. My God, what an experience! What great games! Unfortunate second game. The Dodgers fans are going to hate me for this, but the Mets should have won easily, and they were up 2-1 going in the 7th, and a very controversial play happened at second base, and the umps blew it again, and. What happened, it was, reviewed and everything, and, the guy got a 2-game suspension after all this, but it totally turned the game around. The Mets were up to 2-1 going in the 7th inning, and at the end of the 7th, unfortunately, it was 5-2, and the game was over because of a play, a very bad call. Chase Utley slid in the second and broke Miguel Tejada's leg. He got suspended for 2 games. He was out of the baseline. He should have been out by interference. 2 outs. The next pitch, the guy flew out to in the outfield, and the inning would have been over. But no, they gave him an extra guy on first base where there was only 1 out, and then Andre Gonzalez hit that double in the right field corner, and they scored 4 runs that inning and totally changed the game. The Mets, sorry, Dodger fans, the Mets should be going back 2 up. With Harvey going tonight, and the series should be over. But
so here's the deal. I'm guessing, John, that you certainly are not going to be rooting for the Cubs or Cincinnati, right?
Well, from the movie, Bob, from the movie, okay, Back to the Future 2, where they got the sports book and came back, the sports almanac, and he looked at it and he goes, oh, my God, the Cubs win the World Series in 2015. And when was Back to the Future 2 come? I mean, this was how many years ago? 20 years ago, whatever it was?
Yeah.
Years ago?
Yeah. And you know
and
what?
They actually stated that in the movie, my friend, that the Cubs will win the World Series in 2015, and they are up in Game 3 right now. So that could possibly come true. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that?
What did I read? It was 1908 was the last time that they won a Was it something like that?
Yeah, well, thank God Boston finally won a World Series because they were the longest drought. But right now, the Cubs are the longest drought in professional sports. So, you know what? If the Cubs beat the Mets, I won't feel that bad because, I'm a Met fan, and I told you our sorrow. The Cubs are a lot worse. So,
well, but here's the deal. See, if the Dodgers beat the Mets, then you've got a chance of watching the Dodgers and the Cubs play at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
All right. But if the Mets win, John is going to be flying back east, right?
Maybe. We'll see. Well, World Series time, all my family's back there, so they already know. I go, you better put your feelers out right now, and if you can find a ticket, I'm coming. But believe it or not, Bob, I almost played hooky tonight, and thank God Raina, she's a workaholic, she's going to get off because, she's such a big Steeler fan, and the Steelers are down in San Diego, but Big Ben's out, so it was almost a huge sports weekend. But I couldn't miss today's show because last week was just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You need to talk about it. I mean, I was thinking about you all weekend, and what a great time that you must be having. So you know what? So take me. I don't want to just hear about Terra Roja. I want to talk. I want you to tell me about everything.
Oh, and just to piggyback what you started off with, did you fly? There's several ways to get to Napa Valley. Okay, you can fly into San Francisco, Oakland, Sacramento, and now you can actually fly into Sonoma. There's Horizon Air that puts you into Sonoma. It's not cheap, but Sacramento, Oakland, San Francisco, they're very comparable on the pricing. And, you can fly out of Long Beach, Orange County, Ontario, or LAX. Check the prices because you can get some really good deals. But San Francisco, it's just so congested. It's a bit airport. And you have to go up the backside, which is nice because you cross the Golden Gate Bridge, go down, and you go up through Sonoma and cut over to Napa Valley. Now, Oakland, not the nicest area, not the nicest airport, but still congested, and trying to get out of there and everything. And you go through some bad areas, and you got to go up to 80 and cut over to, the 12 at Vallejo, and then come up into Napa Valley. But I tell you, Sacramento, the way to go. You fly in, much smaller airport, believe it or not, even though it's a state capital. But if you fly in the weekend, it's a state capital. Nobody's there. You go in. We got there Saturday morning, just walked to our rental car, hopped on there, and the scenery going. Now,
so is it about the same distance, Sacramento to Napa, as it is?
It's an hour and something, just a little over an hour and something. And no matter if you go San Francisco or Oakland, it's an hour and something to Napa Valley. It's exactly the same distance, give or take whatever. But the view and the ride is unbelievable. Now, if you put it on your iPhone, and you just put Napa Valley in, the iPhone's going to take you, out of right out of Sacramento on the 5 to like the 113 through Davis, and then come back down the 80 all the way down Sonoma and cut across the 12, and then you got another 20-minute ride up into Napa where all the wineries are. Mm-hmm. But go through, Vacaville, go up and through where you go past Lake Berryessa, up into the hills. It is just God's country, the view, the winding roads. If you have a sports car, my gosh, it's so much fun just driving through there. I had a little Yugo or so, I forgot what it was, a little Toyota something, Urus, I think it was. And we were just having fun just driving through the roads. But the scenery is beautiful. You drive right through Lake Berryessa, and just beautiful scenery. And you come right out in the heart of the wine country. And as I said, there's no congestion. You're in and out. There's no, going back there to the security check. I mean, we had so much time. We go, we got to get back there at least an hour and something early. By the time we got to security, to our gate was like 15 minutes. It was crazy. And so it's like, well, let's grab something to eat, something to drink, and just relax and watch TV. It's so much more convenient. The drive is so much better. I mean, the thing is with Sonoma, there's only one airline basically going up to Horizon, and it's not cheap. Yeah. Put you right in Sonoma. Do a day in Sonoma and cut across Napa for time constraints.
Yeah, but you know what? For an hour and a half drive, what the heck? And see that scenery, relax a little bit. You get off that airplane,
Absolutely. And there's no traffic either. You're not bumper to bumper trying to get out of the city or anything like that. There's no congestion. It's just straight through with beautiful scenery, very relaxing. Also, you wind up and you're right in the heart of the wine country. I tell you, it's just so much better. We rented a car. I mean, we always get the cheapest insurance because that takes care of your deductible.
Yeah.
They can say, there's a ding on here from a rock or something like that. That's $200, or you got a $500 deductible. You got to pay it out of your own pocket. Yeah. This takes care of your deductible. And for the rent-a-car and the low-end insurance, so you don't have to pay a deductible or anything, it was like $20 a day. Yeah. And I mean, it's great.
It's peace of mind. It's peace of mind.
It is.
So I have got to know. So when you finally got to Napa, did you take an early flight or a mid-flight? What'd you do?
No, we took an early flight. We wanted to get up there early.
So I'm guessing when you got to your hotel, you weren't interested in taking a nap.
Well, it was funny. This is the first time we did, because usually when we go up there, we stay at like a hotel, one of the major hotels, or we're on the vineyard to, compliments of, when we went up, we stayed at Cane Cellars and stuff. I mean, some of the vineyards have guest houses. So we always stay like at guest houses or at a hotel if the guest houses are full, especially like a big weekend like this. There's no way we were going to get a guest house because, anybody's up there in Napa Valley for release parties, harvest, and so forth. But it was funny. It wasn't really that busy because they picked so early. They were picking back in August, believe it or not. It was just a warm year and an early picking. This is the earliest they ever picked in like 50 years or something like that, they were telling me. It was just crazy. So it wasn't as congested as you thought.
Well, that's good. Now hold that thought, John, because we got 20 seconds and I got to go to a commercial break. And when we come back, you're going to start a blow-by-blow description. It's certainly leaving some time for the Terra Roja event, right?
Well, we don't have a lot of time for the Terra Roja, and Linda is going to be on the show in the next couple of upcoming shows. But we got some great guests coming up on our next upcoming shows.
Okay, so we'll be right back with our own John Hanson and Little Old Wine Drinker right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back, folks.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, General Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39. A complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy John Hanson and that little old wine drinker. Hey, John, take us blow to blow. You're in Napa. You are. Was there an event on Friday when you got there?
Oh, Bob, there was so much thing going on. As I said, we flew into Sacramento, and we rented a car, and we were debating because we did leave early. We got there about 11-ish, 10:45, 11. And we were debating, what do we want to do? Do we want to go up to Calistoga, have a nice breakfast, or come down to Domaine Chandon and do like an early kind of semi-lunch here with champagne and everything? And I tell you about, it was so beautiful up there. It was like upper 70s with a nice breeze, just sunny and gorgeous. It was like you're in heaven. The weather was spectacular. So we decided, and good thing we did, because we drove down to Domaine Chandon. We get there, and believe it or not, Bob, the restaurant is closed.
Oh, you're kidding.
But they were the first 5-star Michelin restaurant in Napa Valley. And I'm talking to a lady. I go, how can you close your restaurant? I go, who was thinking, why would you even think about this? And she goes, well, when we opened, we were the only 5-star Michelin restaurant in Napa Valley. Now you can throw a stone and hit 3 of them. And it was like, this has actually become the mecca of fine dining up here. So we decided to go another route and open a private club, which was very interesting. So since we're in the industry, and by the way, if you're in the industry and you've never been to Napa Valley or Sonoma or anything, you got to get up there. Everything's going to be good. All the tastings are comp for you. If you want to buy wine, you get 30% off. If you're a wine aficionado out there, take somebody in the industry, take him up there, pay for his room, have him take care of all your things, and get 30% off all the wine you buy. It'll be cheaper if you buy him a room, just take care of everything for him. I tell you, the discounts you get up there if you're in the industry is incredible. And they treat you like a royalty. They just roll out the red carpet for you. But so we went up there, and we decided to go up to the club. And
so I don't suppose being an advanced sommelier with Disney was any help to you, huh?
Oh, no, they I bowed when I walked through, actually.
And Philippe was...
You at Disney? Can we get on your core list? You can have the restaurant. You can have whatever you want to get on your core list. But when we get up there...
Well, did they let you into the private... Did they let you into the private club?
Well, yeah. We actually went up there, and they took care of our tasting and everything, and we got a great little prosciutto cheese, a little French baguette, and we just tried all the sparkling wines and sat out there and just relaxed. And it was just beautiful up there. The scenery, you of course up on top of a little hill when you're up at Shandong, but as I said, the weather was just perfect. We sat there and just sipped on champagne and had this incredible Italian prosciutto and cheese combination. It was just amazing. But just adjacent to Shandong, there was, I'm a big aficionado of vintage cars.
Yes.
Love vintage cars. I have a 68 Firebird I restored. I have a 87 911 Carrera Porsche I restored. I love cars. And they had this incredible car show over there. So we took our champagne glasses and walked over to the car show. And I was in heaven. It was just amazing. So we kind of blew up the whole morning up there because from 1 to 4, they had the Hyde of the Lane tasting. Now, this was the first year they're actually showcasing the Pinot. Now, let me tell you what Hyde of the Lane is. Larry Hyde's been one of the biggest. He was more of just a farmer because everyone was just pulling off his vineyards. He didn't make wine. But his sister married Alberta Villain, who is the winemaker for the RC, the Romanée Conti. Mm-hmm. So you have the number one Pinot winemaker in the world. He went to Larry and said, why ain't you just making wine? So they started what they call Hyde de Villain. And they have this, one of the nicest guys you ever meet, and he's going to be on our show soon, hopefully, as well, Stephane, from France. But this is the first time. They've done Chardonnay for a while, which I think, Bob, I'm going to give you a bottle of Chardonnay. Marlene's going to be in heaven. It's one of the best Chardonnays up there.
Wow.
And kind of stop me when we get about a minute left because we got to do the wine pick of the week. Okay. It's going to blow you away. And I heard this from the winery. And I can't say name because they'll probably get fired if they're listening right now.
Okay.
But the reds have been good. Nothing blowing me away. But I'm saying you have the number one Pinot winemaker producer in the world. I mean, $5,000 a bottle for the main Romanée Conti. Why aren't you guys making Pinot? Well, they finally released their Pinot. Their two shards blew me out of the water. One of the best shards we've had. I mean, as I said, there's like only a few shards I drink up there. If I'm going to drink Chardonnay, it's going to be Burgundy. Yeah. But Auvert, Hyde of the Lane, and we'll get to the wine pick of the week later. Are basically the only shards that are in my refrigerator. But we tried the Pinot. It's the first vintage, young guy, and so I'm like, we got to give it a chance. It didn't blow me right down. Don't go running after because it's Hyde of the Lane, Alberta the Lane, the winemaker, Domaine Romanée Conti, oversees it. Wait, let's give it a chance. Okay. Now, of course, after that, we checked into the B&B, and I tell you, this is the first time we actually stayed at a B&B because, we always stay at the wineries or a major hotel. Mm-hmm. And part of the experience, I tell you, the next morning, the breakfast, and where we sat there and talked to all the other people staying there, and we made some great friends. We had a couple that was from Oregon. It was just starting the winery. Mm-hmm. It used to be cattle, and then they were selling Christmas trees, and his dad was very ill, so he moved up there and took over everything and started planting grapes. And the vine's only a couple years old, so they're not producing really grapes yet, but next year they're going to be selling, and in a few more years we're going to have them on the show in a few weeks down the road as well. Great couple from Oregon, and I tell you, I love Oregon wine. So we'll get to that because I know we don't have that much time to go, and I want to get to this incredible weekend we had.
We got 7 minutes.
Okay, so after Hyde of the Lane, of course, Linda Neal. Unbelievable. We went, checked in our B&B, took a shower, got dressed, and went over to Linda's place. We got there at 4:30 for, the industry and tried the 2012, which was amazing. But she did the 7, the 9. And Danny DeSante, the winemaker, he buys some juice from her and makes this other wine. It's Tierra Roja juice that they just use for auctions and Cherilets. And she poured that as well. Unbelievable. Great evening. She had a band playing till wee hours in the morning. She started opening the champagne. We didn't get out of there until like 1 o'clock. So we got the next morning. What a great breakfast. I mean, oh, my gosh. They had like a poached apple with dried cranberries and like a maple sauce.
This is at the B&B?
This is at the B&B, and these pecan waffles. Oh, my God, incredible, with mimosas and everything. It was just amazing. And then we had a 10 o'clock appointment with Jean Hofiguera. We've had on the show before with Alpha Omega.
Yeah.
I tell you, that half-an-hour interview, Bob, unfortunately went to an hour and a half.
Wow.
Okay. But amazing wines and John's insights. And as I said, he has a gift of gab, but he moves his hands. Now, John, Bob, I felt like I was 5 years old because he's 6'6", about 270. He's a mountain of a man. And, of course, Raina takes pictures with every winemaker, every important person up there, you know. And I sat there, and when we were at Bird of the Lane, I sat there and just chatted with Larry Hyde. And Larry and I took these great pictures. You know, he's up there in the years as well. But when we took a picture with Jean Hofiguera, it looks like I'm about 5 years old in this picture because I'm 5'10", maybe, 185. Well, no, after these last couple of weeks, I may be about 220 because that's all I've done in the last 2 weeks. But what a mountain of man, what a great, but his insights, and I recorded everything. We're going to have to, of course.
We can edit it. That's not a problem. We're
going to have to edit it. But what I would love to do, and he said he'll definitely come back on the show, just do some inserts of what he said and have him respond when he's on the air again.
Oh, that's a great idea, John.
Just great. You know what?
We'll have you and Raina over a weekend, and but it'll be a working weekend. We'll just go ahead. Well, tough for you. It'd have to be on a Sunday, huh? Yeah.
Sunday or Monday. She can get out there. She can do like a half day on Monday, probably, or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll come out there and have fun.
Yeah. You know what? If we do a Sunday and a half a day on Monday, and that way you and I can get that stuff and edit it down exactly the way you like it, and then we can plug it in the way you want. I mean, that'd be great.
Absolutely. But, Bob, I know I don't have much time, so I'm just going to wind this up and conclude this and just blow you away.
Well, you got 4 minutes.
Okay, great. So after High Lane, of course, we had lunch at Whitehall Lane. Dennis was there. He showed us around the winery. He had some great wines. You can get.
You're not going to tell me you didn't go to BV, are you?
No, we snuck that in too, Bob. But we'll say that for another show.
Okay.
I mean, it was just a quick little thing because we didn't have any time. It's crazy how time goes by. But after lunch, Linda was upset because she really couldn't spend much time with us. So we went over after lunch at Hyde Lane, and we go over to her house just to have like a glass of wine and spend some time with her. And she goes, "I haven't eaten. Let's go have lunch." So we went to Auberge's Filet and had this incredible lunch over there. Kenny Cole and his wife came with us. Now, Kenny, he was my partner in the advanced tasting where we both passed the advanced together. Mm-hmm. Kenny now is with Gendona. Which the owner is from Portugal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, we got so much information, not enough time to cover in the air, but we'll talk about next week too, Gendona. But also, Kenny's wife is a chef as well. So instead of spending the second night at B&B, we grabbed our bags and went over to Kenny's house because he's up in Pritchard Hill, going out by Lake Berryessa, and it'd be a half an hour closer. Instead of going back and coming back, we said, let's take care, and we just crashed at Kenny's house, and we had just an amazing, his wife, what an incredible chef. She was a model too, Bob, so it was great to look at her.
So not only did the food taste good, the scenery was wonderful too.
Yeah, the service was impeccable. But Kenny, as I said, one of my good friends, he's a big Steel fan. He's from Pittsburgh because my wife's the biggest Steel fan in the world. We get along so well. We go to Steeler games. He was going to come down here, but unfortunately, since Ben Roethlisberger's out, the kind of Steeler San Diego Charger Monday night thing kind of fizzled out, thank God. Because I don't know if I can afford it anymore. I tell you, the last 2 weeks, I spent so much money up there and so much money in the Dodger game. You know, it's 14-something a beer at Dodger Stadium, by the way.
Isn't that highway robbery?
Yeah, it's crazy. But what we got, about 2 minutes left, a minute left?
We got 3 minutes left. Not quite. 2 minutes, 45 seconds.
Okay, good. Because I did want to touch on Gondona. It's right between Bryant and Kogan. Bryant goes for what? $600, $700, $800 a bottle. So does Kogan. Premier Land, unbelievable wine. They have two different. They have the Gondona, which is, believe it or not, only like $2 something a bottle. Amazing. But they have a lower end wine as well, and cost us for like $100 a bottle. As I say, you're pulling fruit between two of the biggest wineries probably up in Napa Valley. Unbelievable wine, and we're definitely going to have Kenny on the show.
Well, that's great. We got 1 minute for wine of the week.
Okay, so this is more for Marlene as well, and you're going to have to go out and get this. So when I was at High Devil Lane, I'm not going to mention any names, and I said, you know what, I came up, because the first release of the Pinot, this. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. And it was funny because he goes, you got to try my Viognier. And I tried his Viognier, bright acid, this. I go, this is not Viognier. This tastes nothing like Viognier. And Stefan looked at me and goes, I know. Do you like it? I go, I love it, but it doesn't taste like Viognier. But anyway, another gentleman, I go, gosh, your shards are incredible. And he goes, well, I tell you what. I mean, their shards, for the regular shards, around $60 a bottle. For the 35-year-old vines, they're going to the high-end shards, like about $90 a bottle, for $20 a bottle. And this is up there at the winery, right across the street from Larry Hyde's property. Hyde Vineyards is a place that is Obsidian.
Okay, we got to get to it, John, because we're going over here.
Obsidian Pastena. Obsidian Pastena. Small production right across from Hyde Vineyards. He said at $20 a bottle, their Chardonnay is just as good as High Devil Lane.
Wow.
Go out, see if you can find it. Bob, I'll get you the information. You're going to have to get a bottle and get to Marlene.
Yeah, text it to me. Well, I'll go, I'll try Total Wines or one of those places, or I'll find it.
Or go online and get it. They said it's just as good, if not better, for a fraction of the price. And for all those wine people out there, go find it, because it's not a big production, but it's out there, and for the price, it is amazing. It's just as good.
Okay, John, I'm sorry, buddy, but we are done. Fantastic show, and I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. As I said, we got a lot of great things coming up. We have the Heiress to Mouton, the Rothschild. It's going to be at the end of this month. I need to talk to you because I don't know if we may do a show at your house or maybe you can come down to Orange County or what. But she's going to be here. It's once a year she comes out here. We're going to have her on the show.
Okay, sounds good to me, John. We can do it here. We can do it there. It just depends on the timing. In the meantime, have a wonderful evening. Give that lovely wife of yours a hug and a kiss from me, and we'll talk to you if not before, certainly next Monday.
Oh, well, by sure. We'll talk before and do the same for your lovely wife.
All right, buddy. You take care. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to do the birthdays for today, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 97 on its way to 69. So, I mean, this is just beautiful weather. But you know what today is, right? Sure you do. It is somebody's birthday. Oh, yeah. Well, today, Monday, October the 12th, this gentleman, you all know him. He was born in 1968, an actor and producer who's involved in film, musical theater, and television. He has won international recognition for his roles in major films, notably as action superhero, period, and romance characters. It's happy birthday, Hugh Jackman. Yeah, you didn't know who I was talking about, did you? Wow, what a guy. And I'll tell you what, Marion Jones, born in 1975, she won 5 medals at the 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney, but she has since agreed to forfeit all medals and prizes. And let's talk about today in history. On October the 12th, 1928, an iron lung respirator is used for the very first time at Children's Hospital in Boston. For those of you not old enough to remember that, I do remember iron lungs. What a horrible, horrible thing. And when you see it, even though it's empty and not in use anymore, it'll bring you to tears for those patients who had polio or paralysis, infantile paralysis, that needed that in order to survive. Well, also in 1962, infamous Columbus Day storm strikes the United States Pacific Northwest with a record wind velocities, 46 dead, and at least U.S. $230 million in damages. And then, in 1972, en route to the Gulf of Tonkin, a racial brawl involving more than 100 sailors breaks out aboard the United States Navy aircraft carrier, the USS Kitty Hawk. Well, enough of that stuff. You know, the quote for today comes from somebody else we all know, Anthony Hopkins. Man, what an actor he is. And his quote today is, I love life because, well, what more is there? Isn't that a fact? Something to think about. Well, let's talk about the secret daily teachings for your life. It's all about a positive mental attitude. Today's secret teaching is focus inside on joy. Think thoughts of joy, feel joy, see yourself in joy. As you connect to joy inside you more often, your whole world will shift to reflect that joy. The universe will move people, circumstances, and events to deliver joy to you because you are magnetizing joy. I'm telling you, folks, it happens. It works. It's all up to you. Well, let's talk about the Harvard business tip of the day. The management tip today is develop smart routines to find your focus. You know, the more decisions that you have to make in a day, the more drained you feel. To focus your attention and energy on the work that matters, it helps to apply a repeatable structure to your day. You can start by beginning your mornings an hour or so earlier. No matter the time you choose, you'll feel more energized by how much more you check off your to-do list before noon. Then try working in 90-minute increments. This is the optional amount of time for focus. Concentrate on one task uninterrupted for an hour and a half. Then take a break to refuel before switching to your next task. When you're powering down at the end of the day, review your to-do list. Did you get everything done? Were your expectations realistic? Doing this every day will help you determine whether you're assigning time and tasks appropriately. I'm telling you, folks, that's a great tip for the day. Now, let's talk about interesting but useless facts. Now, let's try this fact number. This is fact number 127. Can you believe I've already done that? I give you so many of them. You know, this is what the red, white, and blue on the United States flag represents. The Continental Congress left no record to show why it chose the colors. However, in 1782, the Congress of the Confederation chose these same colors for the Great Seal of the United States and listed their meaning as follows. White, to mean purity and innocence, red for valor and hardiness, and blue for vigilance, perseverance, and justice. According to legend, George Washington interpreted the elements of the flag this way. The stars were taken from the sky, the red from the British colors, and the white stripes signified the secession from the home country. However, there is no official designation or meaning for the colors of the flag. I find that interesting, don't you? Well, did you know the pitches that Babe Ruth hit for his last ever home run and that Joe DiMaggio hit for his first ever home run were thrown by the same man? Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Well, how about this? The human eye blinks an average of 4,200,000 times a year. And that's an involuntary function of the eye. You don't make it happen. It happens by itself. How about, let me leave you with this one. Chewing gum was created by the Mayans over 300 years ago. They boiled the sap of the sapodilla tree and chewed it. And that's where chewing gum came from. I'll give you one more. The average lifespan of a taste bud is 10 days. So needless to say, we continually keep recreating and replenishing our taste buds. Now, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to deal with your emails. The first one comes from Barbara Weltman from New Brighton, Minnesota, asking about a mileage allowance. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. Aho Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, we're coming down to the wire. It's time for me to answer your emails. And as always, I'm going to caution you. You know what, we do the best we can with this part of the show, but a lot of the information comes in a little sketchy. So we always encourage you to talk to a licensed professional before you go off and do anything. They're going to give you a thorough interview. They're going to get all the pertinent information that they need to give you a good comprehensive answer to your questions. And the nice part about it is one of the conditions of their licensing is that they maintain errors and omissions insurance. That's the same thing as malpractice insurance, which means that if they give you the wrong advice, they pay the piper, not you. So that gives you peace of mind, lets you sleep at night. Just keep that in mind. Now, it's time for us to answer these questions. The first one is, my first email comes from Barbara Weltman from New Brighton, Minnesota. She's asking about a mileage allowance, and basically, she's asking about it, but wait till you hear what this is all about. Yep. In this particular case, it says, I'm a bookkeeper for a firm whose key employee says it's too time-consuming to keep detailed driving records, so we estimate her driving and reimburse her the same amount for it every month. But how do I record and report this? Everyone else provides detailed driving records. Well, you know what? Yeah, she should be screaming about this thing. You will have to report the reimbursement paid to the key employee on her W-2 as taxable wages to her. The tax rules are very clear that tax-free reimbursement is available only when specific records are kept reporting the date, the destination, and the business purpose of the driving on a per-trip basis. Now, estimating, as you described, it's just simply not permitted. So if you need more details on this, go to the rules for how to report reimbursements under the headings Accountable Plans and Non-Accountable Plans in the IRS publication 463. That's travel, entertainment, gift, and car expenses. And hopefully that'll give you the answer that you need to have. Now, next email comes from Sydney Cass. Sydney's writing me from Raleigh, North Carolina, asking about Social Security number, and says, I had a new baby at the end of the year, but due to the paperwork filed up, I have yet to receive a Social Security number for her. How do I claim her as a dependent on my tax return? Well, here's the deal, Sydney. The law requires that the Social Security number be provided for every child who is claimed as a dependent on a tax return, but there is an easy fix for your situation. Prepare your return as you always would, otherwise do. But if you don't get the Social Security number by April the 15th, which obviously we're by that already, file an extension. Now, if you've done that, send in the accompanying payment if there's any tax due, and then when the Social Security number finally arrives, simply fill it in on the return and mail it in. If you weren't able to do that, just send it in without the dependent there. And then when you get the Social Security number, amend the return, add the dependent with the Social Security number, and then the IRS will send you the difference that you're due on the child credits and on the exemption credits and all that stuff. So hopefully that'll help you. Next email comes from Lawrence Berlin from Grand Rapids, Michigan, asking about deduction sizes. And says, if the amount I deduct on my tax return for items such as charitable contributions is a lot larger this year than it was in past years, will this red flag my return for an audit? Lawrence, no, it won't. IRS computers do not flag return for audit on the basis of year-to-year changes in a taxpayer's deductions. However, they do flag returns on which deductions for particular items are much larger than the average for taxpayers at that income level. But even that shouldn't deter you from taking legitimate deductions. Simply make sure that you keep all the required documentation to support them should the IRS question them. You know what? You shouldn't pay 1 penny more in tax than you actually owe. And don't ever be afraid to claim everything you've got coming. Now, finally, my last email comes from Lisa Collins from Akron, Ohio, asking about a home sale. It says, we sold our home last year after living in it for many years, so our gain should be tax-free, but we just received a copy of a Form 1099-S that reports all the sale proceeds, more than $100,000 to the IRS. How do we handle this? Well, Lisa, don't worry. The 1099 was sent out by mistake, and your gain is still going to be tax-free up to $250,000, $500,000 if it's a joint return, if you met the 2 of 5 year residency requirement. Now, technically, you don't even have to report it on your return, but if a 1099 reporting more than $100,000 has been filed, IRS computers are going to expect to find a matching amount on your return, and they're going to flag it for attention if they don't. Now, the simplest thing to do is report the sale on Schedule D of your return, add a note explaining what happened, and then subtract an offsetting Section 121 exclusion amount so that no tax actually gain results. In that, you're going to be glad you did. And so that's it. I want to remind everybody to go out there and get our app, Robert Cardoza Live. Just go to your Apple Store or go to your GooglePlay.com, either one of them, and search Robert Cardoza Live, and you'll be able to get either the Windows app or the Apple app. It's absolutely free, and you can follow our show. You can either listen to our archives or listen to the live show. You can even chat with us during the show under those circumstances with that app. We encourage you to get that and tell all your friends about it as well. I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where you get all the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, Sean LaFave is going to be talking about healthcare on his series, Geared for Wellness, and Suzette Mailer is going to explore her journal. We'll see what she's got to report. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, I want you to stay healthy. I want you to stay happy, and I want you to stay safe. I want you to make everybody's life that you touch better for it. Until tomorrow, good night, everybody.